Does have an idea if I'm moving the frame or not? Oh, fuck! If I had to leave it there. Hold on. Don't worry about me. There we go. Good enough. Oh wait, no, it's not. Oh, that's why.
Are we live?
We're live.
Oh, well,
Oh.
hello.
Ugh.
Steven, get out of the camera.
Fixing
Well, hello,
shit.
guys.
Hello.
Hello.
How did you guys like it? This is so weird not being able to see chat.
Yeah, we
I don't
can't
know.
see anything.
I don't know if I like this more or not. Anyways, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. Why don't you go ahead and start?
Hey, I'm Zazumi. I play as Raven. Bird Mom. Yay! I do random shit.
Hey guys, I am Beau, aka Crimson. I voiced Winter and Ilya for the Abridged, and I directed the short.
Hello, I am Silent Sanic, and I am the newly casted Tuxin, and I also am the lead editor for the short.
Yeah, yeah.
I am Brian. I'm the also recently casted as Neptune, and also the lead audio person on this short.
Oh right, yeah. I'm Kay. I do the sound effects for specifically fight scenes, but I got a new mic now.
Ooh.
Yes.
I'm not using a headset mic now. I'm so happy.
All right, what are people saying? Tell us. We're really well. Actually, I believe we have a special message from the overall director of our VR shorts, our very own Tina,
Yes.
who unfortunately could not be here because of other commitments,
Yes.
aka work, because she's a grown up.
Yes, I have been tasked to read this, so I will read it out loud to all of y'all. Tina said, "It's always a stressful roller coaster making these shorts. From the first call to sit down and discuss ideas or scenarios, to the long recording sessions, or even to that final button that is pressed to deliver all of our hard work to you. We really hope you enjoyed this nondescript winter holiday. With each short, we aim to improve as well as get better and better. From changing the process to adding more people skilled in areas of their expertise, you may notice some substantial changes this short. This short was directed by Beau, who did a phenomenal job stepping up to the plate to plan and block the scenes out with Steven and guide those sessions. You'll see that we added a new location and remodeled, in a sense, some of our frequented locations we use. I just want to say shout out to Leshen for giving the dorms a beautiful Winter Wonderland makeover. Shout out to Zazumi for being such an amazing coordinator for takes for our camera operators. The filming process is always on point when she's there to keep us not only on track, but have clean takes for post production. In previous shorts, audio was usually me going in and setting up the audio track, and Steven going in and adding ambience, music, etc. This short, we swapped that over to Cole and Brian, respectively, who delivered on a professional level assembly of an amazing radio play, ambience, and even Brian, who drew inspiration from RWBY to compose a new score for this short. From the writers to the mocappers to the cameramen to the whole post production process, we hope you enjoyed this new short. We hope we can continue to inspire and encourage others to do what they love, make a difference, and keep moving forward. Much love, Tina."
Can't clap. Clap as best we can. Yes, golf claps.
I'm doing
Oh
it right.
my God, Steven.
I'm doing it right. Am I in the shot?
Anyways, no, you're not in the shot. Go away.
Fine, I'm going in the center then. Fuck you.
But anyways, so Brian, why don't you go ahead? This is the voice of Brian, as you guys are hearing. Why don't you go ahead and talk about some of your experience with doing the audio for this?
Audio was interesting because I'm an audio engineer by trade, and for this short, previously for the shorts and for the abridged and for basically all of our content, um, we've never actually had a real dedicated audio post-production process. Basically, like Tina said in her letter, like it was basically just her and Steven doing it. But in reality, that is an entirely separate job done by people who specialize in that stuff. So this was our first time coming around and actually adding a real audio post workflow to a short, and it was very interesting trying to set it up because for most everybody here, it was nobody had done it before, and it was a unique process because of the filming of the nature of filming the VR shorts themselves. We kind of had to get creative and do things very differently than you would for a feature film. So I think probably the biggest challenge to it was just simply trying to figure out what our process was going to be specifically for the VR shorts, because it's very different from anything else. So yeah.
Someone having a tumble with their microphone?
Apparently.
I'm
Why are
charging
you,
it.
I
why
just
are
say-
you all the way over there?
I had to charge it.
So the camera is a little messy, apparently. I'm checking it, so this is the end where I am. I don't know what happened.
Oh,
It's
I
all
think it's
right.
because
The
I
camera looks
disabled it. I
fine.
don't know. You're not in camera though.
yeah, you might move in towards me a little bit. I'm like the center.
Yeah, I
I
don't.
think
Oh, sorry.
I think one of
Yeah.
the other challenges too was the fact that I'm basically, Cole, who plays our Crow and is the director for World of Remnant
Oh, freaking
Abridged
Sean.
and writer, and oh, and yeah, and Jean. um, yeah, he's training under me right now to do more audio stuff, and so it was kind of uh, just like pretty much anything else I've done where I've been the lead audio person. There's this balance of trying to get what you need to get done, but making sure that all the people working under you have what they need to do their job. And it's a balancing act of like, well, I need, you have to get other people the stuff that they need before you can do your work. And it can be a real time suck sometimes. So that was definitely a challenge as well.
Yeah, definitely. Stop opening your menu. Yeah, the time was definitely one of the biggest issues. There was just, an inside, I feel like an inside joke with this short was that we were calling it affectionately, mind you. We love this short. Like, I literally just got teary-eyed watching it. That was like the coolest thing ever. Our affectionate name for this short has been Murphy's Law, because everything that could have possibly gone wrong with it absolutely 100% went wrong.
Oh, for sure.
whether it came to like the modeling stuff, or just schedules not working out, or even like stuff that pulled us away, some of us away from me, pulled us away from filming and whatnot during crucial points. It was just
A lot of stuff had to be
everything.
refilmed too.
A lot
Yeah.
of stuff did have to be refilmed.
A lot of the first scene that you saw, mostly Yang, Blake, and Ruby had to be refilmed. Weiss was the only one who we didn't have to touch, which Beau did. She mocapped Weiss actually, so coincidentally, perfectly enough, her takes were fine. Everyone else's needed to be redone to an extent, at least. Not everyone's, but all over, but a good amount of them had to be redone there. And then some of Ozpin's close-ups had to be done too, but everything else was good, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think.
Apparently we got a question. What was the idea behind this short? Comes from the chat.
So originally we wanted to do something winter holiday related. This is originally this was slotted to happen before Christmas, but because of Murphy's Law, couldn't happen. So, originally the thought was not Christmas specifically, but the holidays. It's because a big theme about RWBY, especially around the winter time that we know of, is not a thing called Nondescript Winter Holiday, which is from RWBY Chibi. So we decided to play on that in some really wholesome but still really funny way. And then this was the birth child of that, pretty much.
It was kind of like once we realized that we wanted to do something for the holiday, it was kind of like, well, what if everyone got snowed in? Like they all had these plans and they got snowed in. How would that look? And we just kind of spitballed that idea for a while, and thanks to the writing team that we had, which Brian came in like halfway through the writing
Yeah, I did.
stage. It just happened to be that he came in like when we had just started working on the script. And you know, everyone contributed so heavily to it, and it, like, just honestly, now looking back on it start to finish, like, I'm so happy with the results despite all of the craziness that happened. Like I said, I literally got teary-eyed watching it a minute ago, but I had to be like, don't cry, you're in VR, don't cry. It's not your VR headset, don't cry. But Zaz, what was your favorite part about like the filming or the creative process behind it?
I think just sitting down, getting, it's stressful getting everyone together and writing it out takes weeks. It takes so much time and organization to get everyone together. And then just to sit down and watch it at the end, I think that's my favorite part. Just to see how much you guys have improved from like little tiny and then like super big. And I'm like, oh man, it's so good. It's so good.
Apparently we had a question from Gamer Black Jacket about if we're still looking for voice actors. We yes and no. Yes, as in there are characters that we are still planning on casting for the future. No, not right at this moment. However, if you are a member of our Discord, we do post in the announcements and the auditions channel when we are hosting open auditions, and where you will be able to find those auditions and what you will need to do in order to audition for those roles. So yeah, that's just keep an eye on that tab and you'll be able to learn all about the audition stuff for RWBY.
Yep.
Kay is muted. Yeah, I think you're also muted in game because your mouth isn't moving when you talk.
Nah. Oh, it's still set to Screaming Bee, even though I changed it before I launched the game. Yeet.
Oh, I thought I
okay.
pushed to talk on my
Don't
B.
worry about it. Just pretend my mouth is moving.
From Ezio, is there anything that we could change from the short? That we would change from the short if we could?
The credits, fix those. That's it.
Honestly, yeah. I would say, well, no, actually, credits aside, that was not anything that was our fault. That was a Premiere bug. The one thing that I would fix would be getting more camera angles on Yang in the last scene.
Yeah.
Because that was an unfortunate circumstance, but
Yeah.
you know, we learned from that mistake, and it's not going to happen again.
Yeah. I mean, I from an audio perspective, we were severely pressed for time to get things done, and you know, I normally when I sit down to mix something, I like to really scrutinize it, and this, at least to me, felt very much like a you know, bang it out, get it out the door. So but I mean, I still think, you know, it was like I want to say it was like a 7.5 hour mix. I think it turned out pretty all right for a 7.5 hour mix.
I think it definitely did.
I also
I was on the call with you this morning when you were like, "Yeah."
And I think that like this was my first time ever doing any like serious composition. And there's definitely like stuff pacing wise with the music flowing from scene to scene that I would probably want to change.
I have a couple questions to answer if you don't mind. There's actually some good ones here. So, one real quick, Mr. Black. He asks why there's no action, and there's a good reason for that. We do all of our filming here in VR chat. There isn't much we can do in terms of filming. For action scenes, we can't do like there's no collider. Like if I was to touch this candy cane, for example, I can't. I can't touch it. I can't manipulate it. And if I had one similar, I can't touch it with it. It won't collide. It'll go through, and it looks bad. It's really hard to get that sort of thing to work. However, we want to do stuff like this in the future eventually. So we eventually will be getting an animation team. We don't know how long that is in the future, but it's always been planned. It's always been something on the table. So that is something that we will get, but it probably won't be anytime soon. As for the second question, this is a really good one. Apple Sour 42 asks, why do you guys start doing this? And I honestly did this because it's fun. It's something creative. I like to um, use my creative juices, and this is also something to have a passion project kind of for me. Like I love RWBY, and I love animating, I love modeling, I love editing stuff, and this is like a whole big thing of that, and I love it. And I love the people I work with, and I love the results that come from it.
What about you, Zaz?
That's gay.
Hey.
Well, I mean, it started out as my hobby. I didn't think I'd be able to go anywhere with it, but here I am. I'm with you amazing people, and it's like you guys are like my extension. I'm just like I have something to look forward to. And like I watched it. I love RWBY, and I watched the stuff, and I was like, man, I wish I was there. And now here I am, and I worked really hard to get where I am.
That's kind of how I feel, because it's like I've been a fan of RWBY since the Red trailer, like I'm in for the long haul. I've been here from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember back when you had to explain, when you had to introduce it, like, not, oh, have you heard of RWBY? It was, oh, have you heard of RWBY? It's pronounced RWBY. It's by the group that did Red versus Blue. You had to go through the whole process. And now the fact that so many people know it and so many people love it, and for love it for its ups and its downs, like being a part of this kind of almost feels like, because obviously, like the dream would be getting to be with Rooster Teeth, getting to work with Rooster Teeth in some capacity. And like I feel like this is a little bit of a piece of like what it could potentially be like if any of that ever happened. Like it's kind of like we're taking our dreams and making them, like, we're making our own luck with it. And
Yeah.
I really enjoy, like, being able to sit down with the rest of the creative team for RWBY and being like, hey guys, let's make a short about them being snowed in at Beacon, and let's have Raven make an appearance, because why the fuck not? Like
She's
honestly,
overdue anyways.
yeah, she's overdue anyways. Like we're so happy that we got to have Raven make her VRShort debut here. And but yeah, long story short, I'm really happy that we get to do stuff like this, because it really is like, it's like the saying, do something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. With as much work, I mean, at least as far as this is my personal, like, opinion about it. Like, as stressful as it can be trying to meet those deadlines and everything, like, looking back on it, the result is so good and so fun and so enjoyable that, like, the journey was so worth it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just there's only, you can only go up from here.
Mhm.
Like, you can only get better.
Yeah.
So better and better.
Butter and butter.
Yeah, that's what I thought of.
What about
Even
you, Brian? Oh.
Oh,
But
I was gonna say, though it was like several days to, like, in terms of time actually spent working on this, and to only end up with a 10-minute like short, it's still very much worth it. I'm with Beau on that. Like the process doesn't matter, because the end is the reward.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
Definitely.
interrupt you, Brian. The good voice from above.
oh, what is the question was why do we do what we do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
He's
I
like,
mean,
I just got here. No.
He's just like, I just do
Uh,
things. I go with the flow.
I mean that's the reason why I do what I do is a long ass story that does involve Rooster Teeth, but I mean I think the core of it is just I really enjoy telling stories, and my I had a knack for for music and sound stuff, and so I saw it as a way to contribute to the storytelling process. It was kind of, here's my skill set, this is how I can help. And when a lot of my early stuff, like developing my sound design skills and all that kind of stuff, was doing resounds of scenes from RWBY. And I always kind of considered myself to be a part of the RWBY fandom, but I always felt kind of disconnected from the RWBY fandom too, because I was just kind of off doing my own thing. I wasn't really sharing what I was doing with the rest of the fans. And so getting to come on and be a part of RWBY, I've been a lifelong Rooster Teeth fan, and it's only until now that I've really felt like a part of the Rooster Teeth community and a part of the RWBY community. And I'm really, really grateful that I get to work with y'all and help make awesome content for people who like-minded stuff.
Hella. Yeah. So I believe Connor in the chat asked if we're planning on diving into other characters from the show for shorts. I think I can firmly say yes. Yes, we do have we
Have a couple
we have
slotted.
we have a couple slotted. Crow and Raven were the two that we really wanted to bring in this time around because we hadn't had a chance to see them yet, and we've had their models for a hot minute. There are a couple other characters that we do have cast that we have models for that may or may not make an appearance sooner rather than later, and then there are characters that we have models for but might not be cast yet. So it's just kind of a matter of finding a good place to incorporate them without making it feel super forced or anything like that.
Hey,
So
where's
we
that
try to make
Neptune
them.
model?
I know, where's that Neptune model?
I know, right?
Man, we need it. We need it.
Where's that Tuxin model? I need to
Where's that
start a bookstore.
It looks like Connor also asked again if the shorts are based on things in our real life.
Not usually.
I would say personally, because not having to do with this specific short, but the very spoopy holiday short, because I was one of the people that kind of helped originally pitch that idea. My birthday is actually the day after Halloween, and I've definitely experienced what it's like to have people be like, "Oh man, I can't wait for Halloween. Halloween was so much fun yesterday," and then have my birthday be completely overlooked by it. And so when I pitched that idea of like, what if RWBY thinks that everyone's forgotten her birthday? Like that one definitely came from a personal experience of mine. That came from like a very like not an emotional place because it's like, it's whatever. Like I usually celebrate on Halloween anyway, so it's not that big a deal. But yeah, so that was kind of a personal experience of mine. A lot of the Winter and Weiss interactions for this short remind me very much of how me and my younger sister talk because she's often goofing off and goofing around and whatnot. And I feel like I'm always just kind of like, okay, calm down, listen to me, breathe.
Deep
But
breathes.
what about you guys? Is there anything in the short, maybe not necessarily that it was written based off of something for in real life for you, but is there anything that you really related to from the last couple shorts?
In terms of relating to, with the last one, like you, like I was in a similar boat with the birthday thing. Mine's all typically overshadowed by Thanksgiving. It was on Thanksgiving this year, for example, and a lot of times people forget about it. So I kind of was able to identify with RWBY in that sense, and it helped me write them or write RWBY in that sense and everything around that. As for the Ozpin Winter short, that one was a lot of fun to do, by the way. That one I have a little bit of a personal connection with it because my sister and I are always like goofy, but we're always intentionally goofy. But we pretend we get mad at each other sometimes, but it's always in the funny way. And like afterwards, we always laugh at it, you know. And that just reminded me a lot of the way me and my sister interact.
What about you, Zaz?
I kind of related more to the short, where like all my friends are basically my family because I was alone for Christmas and I had everyone here. I had you guys here. So it was like, yes, this short is me right now.
This short is one big old mood.
Yeah, pretty much.
What about you, Brian? Was there anything in this short or any of the previous ones that you've seen that you related to, or you were like, man, that's a mood?
I definitely relate to Ozpin in the Winter Ozpin short. Uh, I
Iconic.
I really I love. Sometimes I just love screwing with people. For this short, I don't know that there's anything in particular. Like, definitely wasn't based on anything in my real life because I came in like halfway through the writing process. But yeah, no, it was. I definitely enjoyed working on it though.
So we have a repeat question. Sorry, I didn't catch it the first time. Zazumi, what inspired you to audition for Raven, and what are your thoughts on playing her?
Well, I originally actually started off as Ruby, like just doing my own thing, and then I met you guys by a friend, and I started hanging out with you guys, and I was like, you know what, for fun, I'm gonna do Raven, whatever. So I kind of I did like the first line, whatever, and I did it, and Tina was like, man, if you keep practicing, you'd make a good Raven. And I'm like, what? So it took me a couple weeks to kind of get the inflections and the way she talks, her mannerisms. And I auditioned and I got it. I was like, oh my god. I can't wait to see what happens in the abridged and the VR shorts with her. I'm excited for it.
I remember hearing your audio the first time when Tina was like, you guys, but listen to this Raven. And we were just like, what? Oh my god, this
That's
is just
honestly
like her. What the heck?
Oh.
Yeah, no, like Tina was literally like sliding into all our DMs with
Yeah,
her
but
audition
guys,
tape.
I think it was in a voice call.
Yeah,
Which I was like,
probably.
but guys, listen to this, and then send
Yeah, I mean, she did a similar thing with my winter. I was just digging around, being like, well, Beacon, it's been a long time, and then she was like, you should record that and then send it to me. So it's Tina's a very big advocate. Like I definitely wouldn't be nearly as involved if it hadn't been for Tina. So shout out to Tina. I know that she's there. I know she's watching.
She ain't got no nipples.
Um.
Oh, I saw
So
a question earlier. Oh, you're not done? I'm sorry.
I was just going through because Tina's sending me questions.
Oh, I have a question I saw in the chat. We do. People are asking for a donation. Do we have one? Yes, we now have a place to send donations if you so choose. Not required at all. But
Mm-mm.
we have a PayPal down in the description right now, actually. If you want to go ahead and send some money there, no, obviously no required amount. Like obviously, like, it's just up to you guys. Any donation you guys send to us is going to be put right back into this bad boy, sent right back into the project, and use it however we can make it better.
Help my
Um,
newfound alcohol addiction.
Oh my god.
But,
no, it's not real.
no
Sorry.
Patreon yet. No Patreon, no coffee. Just PayPal right now.
For realsies though, the goal right now, I believe, is, and if you've been in our server for the last like month or so, you'll know that we put out a survey. Yeah, that we put out a survey about what kind of merchandise you guys would be interested in seeing from us. That is one of the goals with this funding, is to be able to fund the first couple waves of getting merchandise out to you guys, because we do, trust me, we do want to make stuff. It's just a very long and difficult process, and a very expensive process too. You know what the saying is, you have to spend money to make money. And right now, no one, this literally is just a passion project for all of us.
No
Like,
one's making profits.
I hate when sayings like that are true.
yeah, it sucks. It definitely sucks.
And if you're not in the Discord though, and maybe we'll have some other surveys in the future, or maybe you'll see the casting calls, or anything, then that is also in the description right under the PayPal link. Go ahead and click that bad boy. Get on in there. Say hi.
Hi.
Make sure you read the rules first.
Yeah, please do. Oh my god.
This is the head admin right here, so watch out.
Yeah, I'm watching you.
Winter has contacts.
we did have a question earlier that was there are a lot of RWBY Abridged series out there. Do we ever have a hard time standing out from them? I feel like honestly, one of the things that makes us stand out is how involved we are with like our actual community and also the VRShort. Like and the fact that we not only abridge the show, but we abridge the World of Remnant stuff. You know, like we kind of just take everything RWBY and take a different spin on it.
Yeah.
You know,
So
I
it's
feel
fun.
like I feel like the VR shorts in particular, it's like kind of taking Machinima to a whole nother level.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
taking fraps to a whole nother level. 480p with fraps, guys.
Oh my god.
Now, this entire short is filmed in fraps, by the way. No, I'm kidding. OBS. OBS.
Let's see.
Not sponsored by
Tina has
OBS, but we
Not
could be.
sponsored.
No, I'm kidding.
No, you're right.
Hey,
I mean,
if you're out
the
there,
other
OBS.
pertaining to the standing out from other abridged series, I feel like honestly, like our RWBY Abridged is one of the bigger RWBY Abridged, and I think as far as my understanding, the only other RWBY Abridged series that is kind of up standing with us is the Overseers Abridged, and I've been told that he's discontinuing that.
Oh.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
about
I think
that.
he's working
Oh
on
no,
his
fellow
last season,
content
right?
creator. Oh no.
I know that he's. I heard that he's still making stuff. That he's still like
Yeah,
abridging
he's
stuff
just
and
gonna
whatnot.
move on to something else, from what I understand.
Yeah.
It's good to
Mhm.
broaden your horizons.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Someone asked up here. Do you guys think or Connor Holt said, do you guys think Rooster Teeth would end up working with you guys or add you to their website? I mean,
man.
that's the
That's the
dream.
dream.
That's
But,
that's
Fucking
definitely the
wish.
dream.
but who knows?
I mean, to be fair, Rooster Teeth does have a history of hiring from their fan base.
they did, they
you
did that for
know?
Volume 6. A lot of artists on Tumblr got recruited for their concept art and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All that other
Definitely.
jazz.
I think also, I mean, something that I don't know. I mean, I would assume that it's public knowledge at this point, but I mean, just like anything else, right? Like any other, I mean, Team 4-Star has said it, and basically anybody who does a bridge series, I feel like, has said that at some point they want to branch out and start making original content.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's true of us too. And so I
Definitely.
feel like that would probably be the point where those questions would start being raised of like, could Rooster Teeth recruit us?
Yeah.
Once
we start stemming.
Yeah.
I mean, never say never. Like honestly, you never know what could happen.
We're
I know.
surprised every fucking day at this fucking group. Like honestly, anything could happen.
I know that I would have a very, very, very difficult time having to choose between Rooster Teeth and our RWBY though.
I agree.
Like if it came down to having to decide whether to stay with our RWBY or go to Rooster Teeth and not work with our RWBY anymore, I would have they would have to make a very convincing argument. Because
Money?
I just like these
I'm
guys,
kidding.
they're not just coworkers, like they're friends, they're family, like there's very little that I wouldn't do for these guys. Like if any one of the members of RWBY told me like, listen, it's a life or death situation, I need you to come out to me and like help me with something, I would be like, okay, done, I'm gonna make it happen. Like honestly, especially after AWA, I feel like AWA was like a major bonding time for all of us.
It was a team bonding exercise.
It was a team bonding.
Wink, wink.
Wink wonk.
Wink
Wink,
wonk.
wonk.
Oscar Pine. Oh, Oscar Pine asked if we enjoy doing the shorts or the abridged more. I think that it's very important to specify, and I'm stealing this from Tina. I'm sorry. I'm abridging what she said. I think it's very important to specify how different the abridged series is from the VRShort. The VRShorts are the closest right now that we get to original content. They're kind of like canon divergences almost. They're like RWBY Chibi in a sense.
Yep.
But those ones we're creating essentially from scratch. We're taking the pre-existing characters, the pre-existing world, yes, but we're writing these stories from scratch based off of an original idea about the characters. We have our own modeling team building these sets.
Well,
Um,
I think it's also really important to specify in terms of this question of whether or not we enjoy working on the abridged or the VR shorts more, is that most of us don't really overlap that much. We have different teams working on those shows.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
This
The
is the
only-
VR team. There's
the
an
only-
entirely separate team for the whole abridged.
The only
Mhm.
thing that really overlaps with it is the voice actors or sometimes the writers. Sometimes one of the writers might have like a bit of insight for something that might get added or taken out depending on what their insight was. But it's really just like the characters, like the voice actors that overlap and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Like
But
Cole is a good example of a person who overlaps because Cole is a writer and director for World of Remnant Abridged. He's a writer for RWBY Abridged, and he's a writer on the VR shorts as well. And
He's John and Crow.
and John and Crow, and he's everywhere. But
he's got his hands in all the cookie jars.
yeah, he does. But like, it's really interesting to me because like like you said, Beau, the VR shorts are kind of canon divergent, right? The characters are not like the characters that we write for the VR shorts are generally written to be a lot closer to canon than those in the abridged. And like in this short in particular, I feel like the one place where that absolutely wasn't true was with Ozpin. I feel like this was very much abridged Ozpin in this short.
Yeah.
And it's fine because I love abridged Ozpin. But I mean, Cole was, I think, as I understand it, the one who did most of the writing for Ozpin in this, and it makes sense because he writes Ozpin for World of Remnant and for RWBY Abridged, where they're dealing specifically with abridged Ozpin a lot.
Yeah, I like our abridged Ozpin.
Oh, for sure.
He's as the one of the writers for the Winter Ozpin short, like that cracks me up. I love what a troll he is. Just kidding, or JK LOL.
I had a lot of fun writing the music for Ozpin because RWBY, one of the great things about the RWBY soundtrack is the fact that there are, you've got all these character themes and themes that are assigned to characters and to locations and ideas and whatnot in the show. And so it allows the music to be very expressive in its storytelling. But Ozpin has a theme, and it's very, very dignified. It's kind of got this air of mystery around it. Is typically played by like an English horn. It's a very dignified sounding instrument. And because we were dealing with a bridged Ozpin in this short, one of the most fun things I had working on this was being like, okay, this is Ozpin's theme. How can I make it dumb? And twist it around to better fit a bridged Ozpin. And so yeah, I love doing stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. We have could we see shorts more often or keep it mixed up? I think the goal is to like try
Do one a
to
month.
do well,
That's the
maybe
dream-
not.
That's the wish.
Yeah, the wish would be like once a month, but
That's
the
what we
goal of this is that and this was something that was recently discussed, is that like these are intended to be shorts, like RWBY Chibi, for example. They're supposed to be
Yes.
very very quick, like interactions, like a kind of like a snippet into this interaction, a what if these characters had a chance to interact. Very much so like the Winter Ozpin short. I feel like that one was a very good like example of a short. It was still several minutes long, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like
It's like
this.
3 or 4.
It wasn't
This
like a
is our longest short.
crazy. This is our longest short.
It
This
is
short
about
is
10 minutes.
is longer. The
Like 4
script
seconds.
longer than some of the abridged episodes.
Okay.
But I think that that's the goal, is to be able to get to a point where we can regularly put out VR shorts. It's just kind of finding, because I mean, in all reality, this is technically what, only our fourth short.
Let's see. So there's
it was
Weiss, Weiss, then Bumblebee,
Weiss wants-
then
Weiss wants
Ozpin
Pineapple on Pizza.
Winter, Spoopy Holiday. This one. This is the 5th one. I think.
This is the 5th one, yeah. So this is the 5th one. So we're still trying to get a handle
Am I forgetting one?
on. No, that's all of them. I mean,
Okay.
technically RWBY News Network, but that one's kind of more of an update.
Yeah.
But which we're hoping to bring that back relatively soon as well. Excited about the return of potentially Mr. Buzzbuzz and other shenanigans. Hashtag bring back Mr. Buzzbuzz.
Hashtag Ruby speaks B.
But yeah, I think that that's the goal, is to be able to do more regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah, and I
Process
mean,
nailed
and
down.
a big part of that is, you know, and it's something that we've been talking about internally, is just like we've had a lot of discussions already about, especially with the addition of the audio post-production process, how we're going to restructure our whole production
Mhm.
to work more efficiently and get things out faster.
Here, this is actually a good question that you could answer, Brian. Connor
Oh.
Holt asked, question for RWBY: does each character have their own theme?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
This is something I learned from Brian recently.
Yeah. They use a style of music writing. It's one of my favorite styles of film writing, called leitmotif, where you've basically got a little melody, or even a certain instrument in some cases, that is assigned to a character, a location, or an idea. And you will find leitmotif all over the RWBY soundtrack. In every single one of the orchestral scores, it's filled with it. And so I pulled very, very heavily from the RWBY motifs to write the music for this, and it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun writing Crow's motif, because his motif is just so drunk and fun.
Let's see. Will
I have another question here. So this is from Ezio. He asks, what is the process you guys take to figure out how an abridged character differs from their canon counterparts? Here's our general formula, from what I understand. I don't write for the abridged, so don't take my word like for verbatim. But generally, how it goes is, we take the character as it is and we dial it up to 11. You know, that's generally how it goes. We make them, like, we don't over exaggerate them to the point where it's not recognizable, but we don't change them. You know, like, we still make them who they are, but we just, like I said, dial them up to 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We like to take like a certain aspect of the character and just dial that to 11, like you said. It's
a great example would be RWBY's swear jar.
Yep.
Yes,
like,
definitely.
RWBY is supposed to be the epitome of innocence, so how can we, or I mean, I don't write for the abridged either, but how can how can you push that in a way that just kind of makes it ridiculous?
Mm-hmm.
There are two ways to handle a parody that I've learned, and it's either you take something and you dial it to 11, or you flip it on its head. Those are like the two most efficient ways to do parody stuff. And so I feel like I said, I don't write for the abridged, but I'm sure that that's something that James and Cole and all of them are talking about constantly.
Mm-hmm.
We have a question: will there be character crossovers in the RWBY shorts? I'm gonna assume that you mean like characters that don't necessarily like interact with each other.
I think they
Like
mean by
crossing
characters
over?
in different series.
Oh, characters from different series. I don't know. I don't think that, I mean, as far as the VR shorts go, I don't think that there's I don't want to say. I don't want
we
to
have
say
once.
no.
That was the last one with Steve Mitchell.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's
His
right.
own character.
That is true.
Pretty
So
neat.
potentially, like I guess, like OCs, kind of.
Yeah, some small ones, you
Um,
know, here and there, but
yes.
nothing. I don't think we're gonna do major ones centered around that. At least not now.
mhm.
The
Cameos.
other problem,
Yeah.
other problem with doing crossovers from other series is that requires a whole nother set of casting.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Or even at the least if we use characters that exist that have voices. So like, let's say for some wild example, we use someone from Team 4 Stars Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Who knows, right? Some weird thing. We have that voice actor. We just need the permissions from them and the people from who make Dragon Ball Z. I can't remember who it is. If we were to need that, like, we need to look into that. You know, like it's an extra layer of safety we need to go through to make sure we're not gonna make any copyright infringements. You know,
Definitely.
even though we don't monetize some of the
And
most of the stuff
we also
anyways.
want to be respectful of the other series that we're crossing over
Absolutely.
with as well.
Absolutely.
I see a repeat question in chat that is asking about if we're ever gonna see Summer.
Ty.
I believe, yeah, Ty I feel like is an eventuality. Summer is kind of a slippery slope though, because I believe the goal is that we're going to wait until we learn more about Summer, because it's hard to abridge a character when you know nothing about them whatsoever. I mean, we could come up with, like, headcanons and whatnot, assume that maybe she was just like RWBY and everything, but it's it's really hard to it would essentially be creating an original character because we know so little about her. But I think that ideally we'd love to have like Summer and Ty and have like a Team Stark short. Like ideally,
Absolutely.
yeah. But we gotta wait till we find out a little bit more about Summer.
Yeah, hopefully season 6 will
Just
be right around
just have
27.
Summer pull a Neo and be mute.
Yeah, definitely. Jet Jesse 7 asked, since the shorts are in VR chat, does that mean you have your own locations in VR? So like only the RWBY group can join. We do. Yeah, we do have ones that are. We have one that's public, or two that's public actually. The RWBY Chibi dorms, the regular dorms, are public for anyone to join. Also the Beacon Hallway that our very own Tina did. Close your menu.
Leshin published the cafeteria, I think, and also and Joe published this. I think publicly, not this particular one, but without snow, I think. But I know that Leshin released his cafeteria and classroom.
Tina says that the office will be made public.
All right.
So yeah, so I mean, the goal isn't necessarily to exclude the locations from people. It's just we want to make sure that they're good enough before being able to be opened up for like scrutiny and whatnot. Oh
Yeah,
shoot, I think my pizza's here.
Yeah, you can hide a lot with camera angles.
I'm gonna run away for a second. I'll be back. I forgot about that. You guys keep going, keep going.
Okay. Let's see.
Apparently, I'm Cole says we lose a lot of sleep.
This is true.
What's sleep?
Right.
So Tina says that we should talk about creative liberties and on parody and whatnot. I feel like we take creative liberty because we're working with someone else's IP. We take creative liberty pretty heavily on literally every piece of content we make. And like we had like last night I was working with Beau on the music for the end or the after credit scene with Raven, and I decided that I was going to use All That Matters, and Beau pointed out that is a song that's supposed to be about Yang and Blake, not Yang and Raven. And we kind of had to turn around and be like, well, but could it be applied to Raven though?
I mean, let's be real though. Let's be real. It's definitely abandonment issue song. So if anything, it applies more to Raven or it's applied to Raven long than it's applied to Blake. No, but like seriously, like getting to sit in with Brian and like listen to like him go through like the creative process of like like composing the score for the scenes and whatnot. It was so cool, and I'm really thankful that he let me sit in on that. Like seriously, dude, like you were a fucking G, man.
Oh, I appreciate you being there because I'm always like the same with like the mix today, where I when I'm doing work for other people, I really want them to be there to make sure that they're happy, you know? Like
Yeah.
otherwise I'm always self-conscious about like, oh, did I make a good thing? So
Yes. Did I do a good?
did I do a good?
Um. Tai Yang Xiaolong had the question: is it tiring to constantly wear VR boxes strapped to your head?
More than you know.
Indeed.
More than you know.
You know,
I'm a fan of Oculus because it's really light. So
Yeah.
so you probably saw me spinning. That's because I ended up on the other side of my room and I didn't even notice. So I wasn't even walking. I don't know. So
that
yeah.
happens to be a lot. I sit on a stool for like moments like this so I can have my hands like hang down and whatnot. But like I keep like turning in real life to you guys, and then I lift up my headset and I'm like, wait, why am I facing my door? What the heck? It's really easy to get turned around in VR.
Yeah.
It definitely gets tiring after a
Yeah.
while.
A
It's
giant
just
screen in your face.
yeah, just you gotta do it in moderation, like even for the filming and stuff like that. Like we definitely still had to take breaks every once in a while. I actually at one point we were doing a take and I wasn't mocapping for any of the characters and I wasn't recording. I was just there to be supportive, I guess. And I actually fell asleep in the dorm room.
Yeah.
I just like laid back and I was like, man, this is so comfortable. So that was a thing. It's so easy to fall asleep in VR if you're comfortable
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, I've been known to sleep in at 4 a.m. before I'm recording from time to time. I think the Ozpin short was a big example of that because I was sitting in my chair in real life as Ozpin to make it look like he's sitting in his chair, and my feet were up. I was comfy. It was 4 a.m. It was a long night, and then bam, I fell asleep, and I couldn't talk either because my roommate was asleep.
Yeah.
A big ball of awkward.
So other than that, regarding the short, is there anything else that any of you guys wanted to add? Like what's your takeaway? What are you taking away from this short? Like what's something that you learned about this short and something that you look forward to?
Organization is something I learned about.
Yeah.
Organization and pre-planning
Definitely.
is definitely something we have learned, and we're going to take literally the shit out of and use the crap out of in the future
Yeah.
because we needed that.
I think a lot of things were learned on this short.
Absolutely, it was a big undertaking, but it was totally worth it.
Yeah.
The scope was
I think,
ironically lower than the last one, but it was still
like,
harder.
I think I mean the other thing too is I mean you guys have said like there are loads of scripts that are already written and stuff for the VR shorts.
Wink.
And you know that haven't been filmed because either you know we're waiting on a location or a character model or something of that nature. But Beau, one of the things that you mentioned was that as much as you love doing the you know the long, I mean we're basically making mini episodes. Like these last two VR shorts have been like mini episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And you like doing that, but for the next few things you kind of want to get back to doing more stuff like you know what really grinds my gears.
Mm-hmm. A little bit more direct, just like kind of character interactions rather than necessarily like don't get me wrong, I absolutely love having a storyline, having a plot and everything. But it's also really fun to just be like, so what if, what if these two characters met up at a bar? I don't know. Like what could that potentially go like? Wink.
You guys have passed some ideas
Think, wow.
to me that I'm very excited about.
Yeah, hopefully in the next couple months we'll have those out if we're lucky.
I think I
plan.
definitely took away from this short the importance of communication, obviously. Making sure that you fill everyone in and making sure that you keep track of everything, like I guess organization, like keeping track of everything, keeping keeping to your schedule. It's been a roller coaster, like Tina said, but
It's been a hell of a roller coaster.
yeah. But other than that, Zaz, what about you? Do you have anything?
What was the question?
What's your, it was my question. It's kind of
Oh.
like a closing question. Like what's your takeaway from this short? Like what's something that you've learned from this short? And like what are you looking forward to?
Man, just sitting in the scripting calls and all that stuff, I learned a lot of stuff about audio. Fixing my own audio and what's wrong with my microphone, and I'm just, it's an experience where I'm just learning more and more with each short that happens, and so it's just like, it's so good. I'm learning.
Yay!
Brian, is there anything you wanted to add?
My takeaway is, I mean, on a personal level, my takeaway is pretty much my takeaway on everything I work on, which is I need to get better. I need to get faster. But on a group level, yeah, organization, pre-production, I think is the operative word. And yeah, I just overall, like you said, communication and making sure that everybody's on the same page, and also probably trying to set maybe. I mean, I understand we had a lot of issues, but there were dates for when things would be in that were thrown out that I was skeptical about from the get go, and lo and behold, and not that I'm upset about it or anything, but lo and behold, it's like, oh yeah, those dates didn't get met. So maybe trying to be a little more conservative with our schedules for things and being like, we want to get it done in X number of days, but we're going to give ourselves this many days instead, just to be sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, on that note, I wanted to go ahead and mention to people, we are actually going to be at Anime Los Angeles in don't let the title fool you, in Ontario, California, not Los Angeles, California.
Narni?
It's going to be January 10th through the 13th, and RWBY is actually hosting a Q&A panel at Anime Los Angeles on January 11th from 4:30 p.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. So it's an hour and a half long Q&A panel. We're going to be talking about the goodness of being in a bridge series, what it's like to be a voice actor, all that fun stuff. And actually on the same day, we're going to be hosting the RWBY cosplay gathering. I believe it's at 1 p.m. at the South Fountain Courtyard. So yeah, if you want more information, we're going to be posting about it in the Discord server probably in the next week or so once we have the actual finalized details. I do know that the time is going to be for the panel is set. But other than that, just keep an eye on that Discord. Honestly, we post everything there. So we're really excited to have as many of us going as we are. I think we have 9 of us going, 8
Is
or
it
9.
nine?
That's news to me.
Mm-hmm. yeah, so we're really excited about that. But
This guy's going. This person right here.
yes,
You're
me, Brian too. Brian probably.
Yeah, I'm going. I
Yeah.
still need to pay for my room. I need to do that.
You going?
Do that tomorrow.
I'm not going. No.
Yeah, me neither.
But anyways, guys, it has been a blast. We really appreciate your guys' support in all of this, and you know, this short has been a learning experience. It has been fun. It has been, we've laughed, we've cried.
That's putting it like.
But
But yeah,
but we're
it's been a
really
hell of a roller
excited
coaster.
we're really excited to bring you guys more stuff in the future.
Mhm.
Yep.
Anything else?
No, that sums it up pretty much.
Have fun at the dance.
Fun to dance. And on that note, we will catch you guys in the next video.
Good.